Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Bench's Book Reviews. What's in the box today? It's Mr. Chatterbox. One of the good old Mr. Men series by Roger Hargreaves. This one's from '76, so it's one of the older ones. Let's see. It's quite cute the way it has such a long name. They've had to write it around the corner. It's quite a nice little touch. I don't know if that will have any connection to the book itself. Anyway, Chatterbox. Mr. Chatterbox was one of those people who simply couldn't stop talking. He used to talk to anybody and everybody about anything and everything, going on and on and on. And he was talking to a worm. And on and on and on. And there he's talking to a worm. And there's cool, you see the daytime, worm's eye open, Chatterbox talks for a long time, eye closed very subtly, and nighttime. Because he's been talking for so long. Oh, here we go. And on and on and on. And now that's sunrise again. And the worm's woken up, but he's still looking a bit miffed about being talked to for so long. And when he didn't have anybody else to talk to, it's day now, he used to talk to himself, because the worm's gone. You see the worm's wriggled off. "Good morning, Mr. Chatterbox," he used to say to himself. "Good morning to you," he used to reply to himself. "Nice day, isn't it? Yes, it is, for the time of year." And so on, and so on, and on and on. So you've already got these on and ons repeating. He lived in a box-shaped house in a village. Chatterbox Cottage. I mean, it's just square, box-shaped. Doesn't have a roof, I guess, where you might expect a roof. You see the neighbouring houses have slanted roofs, and he doesn't. One morning, the postman arrived with a letter for him. "Morning, Mr. Chatterbox," said the postman. "Good morning to you, postman," replied Mr. Chatterbox. "Although, as I was saying to myself only yesterday, or was it the day before, I forget, however, it's not quite so good a morning, in my opinion, but I might be wrong, although not very often, as it was the other day. Monday, I think it was, or perhaps it was Tuesday, but never mind, because it is quite a good morning. Don't you agree? Yes, of course you do, because that's what you said to me in the first place." And he went on, all morning, and the poor postman was late delivering all his letters. And the postman, continuing the theme of the worm, is a bit sad about being chattered to at such length. Chatterbox not wearing his hat there, he must only put it on to go out. It's interesting. That afternoon, Mr. Chatterbox went into the hat shop in the village. He's got his hat on now, so he's not going to the shop because he's lost it. "Hello, Mr. Bowler," he said to the man who owned the hat shop. Bowler's a kind of hat, so that's a good name for a man who owns a hat shop. I was going to say milliner, but I just thought I'd say man who owns a hat shop. "Do you think, if it's possible, that I could buy, if it's not too expensive, but I'm sure it won't be, a new hat? Because, would you believe it?" "Yes, of course you would. But anyway, as I was saying, my present hat, the one on my head, as you can see, is getting, how can I put it, a little too old. Because I've had it for, let me see now, it must be, let's think, 10 years? No, I tell a lie, it can't be that long. Or can it? Well, yes, it could be, but on the other hand..." And he went on, all afternoon, and half the night, long after poor Mr. Bowler should have shut up shop and gone home. So he's also sad. One thing of interest, they just string it all together with commas, these Chatterbox, these long-winded speeches of his, and then they end it with an ellipsis, these three little dots, ... So you can kind of, gives you an idea of how he's chattering. So that's good. Oh, there's a picture of Mr. Silly. He's one of Mr. Bowler's best customers, I guess, because he's got such a great hat. That's nice. I like that, actually. I like it when there's very mild crossover. There's a thing in... they do it in some of the Axel Schefflers. They put like a little toy Gruffalo in the background of Stickman or something. Or a clock that looks like a Gruffalo or something. I can't quite remember. Anyway, eventually, when Mr. Bowler managed to get a word in edgeways, or was it sideways, he promised to order a new hat for Mr. Chatterbox. Then he pushed Mr. Chatterbox out of his shop, still talking, of course, and went home for his supper, which was cold, of course, because Mrs. Bowler had cooked it for him hours ago. And while he ate, he thought. he thought. I'm not quite sure whether it's edgeways or was it sideways. I don't know if that's reference to anything. Okay, so he was thinking while eating. Exactly 1 week later, the new hat... Okay, so you have to join the dots here. Exactly 1 week later, the new hat for Mr. Chatterbox arrived in a smart red hat box. Anyway, he ordered a hat, didn't he? Just so long ago because it was gibbering. The postman delivered it to Mr. Bowler's shop. That's nice. Throwback to the postman who we met earlier. And Mr. Bowler is now grinning a very large grin. Postman is fairly indifferent to the situation. Just doing his job. At last, said Mr. Bowler, heaving a sigh of relief, I think this hat is going to be the answer to the problem of Mr. Chatterbox talking so much. I wish it could be, said the postman, but how can it? See, so he's got his reservations. Because, replied Mr. Bowler, this hat is a magic hat. Oh, replied the postman, who didn't quite understand. So that's why he doesn't really have much of an expression, because he doesn't really know what's going on. Chatterbox is also grinning. That same afternoon, Mr. Bowler took the new hat round to Chatterbox Cottage. Oh, goody, said Mr. Chatterbox, seizing the hat box and opening it. It's my new hat, my lovely new hat. I couldn't wait for it to arrive. In fact, I got up early this morning because, aren't I silly? I just knew, I don't know how, but I really knew, you know, that today would be the day. I don't know how I knew, but I knew, and it is, and here's my hat. And oh, isn't it beautiful? I can't wait to try it on. Oh, I do hope it suits me. Do you think it will? Yes, of course you do. And why don't you try it on? Said Mr. Bowler, grinning. These days, you normally do know when your things are ready, or when they're going to be delivered, because you get these notifications, or you can do like parcel tracking and things. But in the 1970s, they didn't have any of that, so it really was more of a guessing game about when your parcels were going to arrive. Try it on? Yes, of course I must try it on. How silly of me to stand here chattering on when I haven't tried it on yet. Yes, I will absolutely definitely try it on straight away, because, as I said, it's silly just to talk about trying it on and then not try it on, isn't it? And so he took the hat out of the hat box and put it on. It was a beautiful hat. Look, it's even radiant. It's got these little beaming things coming off it, and Bowler's very happy with the situation. He also wears a hat, which I don't think that's a bowler hat. Looks like more like a trilby. I'm not quite sure what's going on with his hand there. It's very slightly unusual hand. Not sure what they're doing there. Anyway, Mr. Chatterbox's hat is beautiful, certainly. I say, he said, I must say, yes, I really must, that this hat is, yes, it really is, to say the least, one of the better hats that I've ever seen in my life. And in this life, I must say, I have seen some hats, and furthermore... But while he was talking, a funny thing was happening. The more words that came out of Mr. Chatterbox's mouth, the larger his hat became. See, it's almost extended to the width of his person now, whereas on the first page it was a little narrower. The width of his eyes there, you could say, and there it goes almost right across the top of his head. The more Mr. Chatterbox talked, the more the hat grew and grew. That's nice, the grew and grew, because he chats on and on. So, you know, talking grows, talks on again, and it grows more. They've really thought about this. It's very careful writing. Mr. Chatterbox kept on talking, and the hat kept on growing. I can't see anything, he said. 1 minute I was standing here admiring my new hat, and now, all of a sudden, without any warning, taking me all unawares, just like that, the hat grew down to his feet. Mr. Chatterbox stopped talking. So he's been completely encased by his hat. Except for his feet, but almost. And as soon as he stopped talking, the hat grew smaller and smaller, until it was the same size as when he'd first tried it on. Mr. Bowler had gone when Mr. Chatterbox couldn't see him, and now he was walking back to his shop. My special magic hat really works, he chuckled. There's a nice picture. You've got Bowler chuckling in the foreground, and then right away in the background you can see Chatterbox still under his ginormous hat. It's a nice picture. You don't normally get these multi-depth pictures in Mr. Men books. That's quite good. I mean, they've messed up the perspective a bit on that path. Looks a bit weird, but it's still quite good. I mean, it's quite an advanced piece of drawing there. The following day, Mr. Chatterbox was out for a walk when he met the postman in the village. He's quite good. He pops up every now and then. Hello, postman, he said. I say, do you like my new hat? Have you ever seen such a fine hat? I'm sure you never have. What a hat! But you know what was happening, don't you? Small at the moment, but I would expect it to get larger, yes. There it is. The hat grew and grew and grew the more Mr. Chatterbox talked. Now I know what Mr. Bowler meant by a magic hat, chuckled the postman. And we finally get a chuckle out of the postman, that's nice. And he went on his way, leaving poor Mr. Chatterbox speechless, which is a remarkable thing for Mr. Chatterbox to be. That's not just a turn of phrase here, that is a very deliberately placed word. He thought. Thinking. Not talking. Thinking. It actually says that. That's not just me commenting. Not talking. Thinking. So the hat's going to shrink again. And you know something. That hat taught Mr. Chatterbox his lesson. And these days, he doesn't talk half as much as he used to, or even a quarter as much. And you know the reason for that, don't you? Yes, of course you do. But I'm not sure why he's winking there. But now I had Worm from the first scene, grinning. But keep it under your hat. This is the reason. They sometimes put these semi-good puns on the last page. But that was pretty good, wasn't it? I mean, it had a lot of good repetition, consistency. I like the way the postman keeps popping up. I like the very simple illustrations in some ways. With the big thick black edges and stuff. But like the way they can do a lot with just like if the smile goes down or up, or really explain the mood. And you have you had sad worm, sad postman, sad hat shop owner, and then you get chuckling hat shop owner, chuckling postman, chuckling worm. So it's kind of like a pendulum of emotions. Chatterbox seems quite happy about it as well, which is nice to see. That doesn't seem to have completely robbed him of his ability to enjoy life, which would be a shame. And I guess he can always wear his green hat if he does want to chat. Green hat. He said it was a bit old, but it's probably there probably are situations where he'd rather wear a slightly older hat and be able to talk slightly longer. So that's Mr. Chatterbox. Excellent. Another good Mr. Man book. One of the better ones, also, actually. Quite pleased with that one. So yeah, that's it. If you like more Mr. Men, let me know in the comments. I can always dig out another Mr. Men book, I expect. There are many. Or a Little Miss, or even one of the spin-off ones. Let me know in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you next time for another of Mr. Bench's book reviews. Bye.